Guitar players listen with their eyes. That is absolutely indisputable. Guitar players will go on and on and on and on and on about tone, but as soon as you wave something shiny in front of them, they're like, ooh, I want that. I ran a test a few weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, called the Vintage Guitar Tone Challenge. And I wanted you guys to tell me which guitar you thought was which just by running 3 audio samples with no visual feedback at all. Now, in this video here, I was sitting there with 3 vintage guitars, a 1966 Fender Stratocaster, amazing guitar, just beautiful stuff, and a 1962 Gibson ES335, which is pretty amazing if you're into that sort of thing. Not exactly my bag, baby, but hey, I know there's guys who are into it, whatever. No judgment. There was also a PRS from the year 2000, not exactly vintage, but it was still old enough to kind of make a difference. I wanted you guys just to use this amazing hearing you go on and on and on about in the comments over the last near 10 years now. And I wanted you guys to tell me which guitar was which just by using your ears. We're gonna run a little movie clip here. This is a quote from one of my favorite Jedi Knights, and certainly one of the wisest.
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
Now here's the thing. I was sitting there with 3 vintage guitars, and I told you guys I was going to play 3 clips of vintage guitars. An awful lot of you guys made some serious comments about what guitar was what. And we've got the proof right here. And if you want to double check that, all you got to do is go back to that video, look at all the comments. All the ones that don't have the little edited in brackets are still the legit comments. All the ones that do say edited are the guys who went back and changed their comments after watching this video. Like this one from Christopher Aaron.
Number 2 is definitely a Strat.
Yes, Chris, it definitely was, wasn't it? Here's another really interesting one.
In cleans, 1 PRS, 2 Strat, 3 Gibson. Second is clearly has Strat twang going on. Haven't played PRS or ESS, so first and third goes a bit into guesswork, but third sounds kind of mellow, smooth high end, and lower attack release. First, which has much more direct sound, and a bit same as second. In breakup, 1 Strat, 2 PRS, 3 Gibson. This time, first has Strat twang, third is with LPS sound, but still has faster attack and release.
Then third short. Holy blah blah fucking blah. Wow. Okay. Thanks for the analysis there. Jeez. Oh, here's another personal favorite here.
PRS Strat ES335, Strat PRS ES335. I listened through the shit speakers on my Dell Latitude and could hear the difference.
Yeah, I'll bet you could. Oh, and yet another one here.
You can definitely hear the Strat is second in the cleans. Those single coils stand out like no other. And as for the ES and PRS, no clue. I'd still wager the second crunch was a Strat.
Okay, you guys are pretty clear on what's the Strat and what's not, and that's okay. Now, here's the thing. Even though I'm showing those beautiful vintage guitars in the image, I didn't actually say I was going to play those guitars in the clips. Now, did I? I promised some vintage guitars. Well, here's the vintage guitars you guys were actually listening to. Oh, wow, what a revelation. The vintage Strat you guys were going on and on about, oh, that's unmistakably a Strat, turns out to be a hunk of shit with a single coil in it from the mid-'80s. Wow, I'm shocked, I tell you guys. Shocked that none of you guys fucking got that at all. Please continue to tell me how you guys can discern, the differences in tone, especially through laptop speakers. I never, ever get tired of hearing that bullshit. Now let's check out the Edge of Breakup tone. Yeah, there we go. As soon as anybody hears a single coil twang, oh, it's got to be a Strat. It's got to be a Strat. Wrong! Not even fucking close. But hey, that's the nature of the game. Human perception is flawed. We listen with our eyes and we like shiny things. And this is why we spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on the wrong thing when it comes to improving our guitar sound. We spend it on things like pickups and tubes, and we don't even consider the one thing that's actually filtering all of the sound, and that's the speaker. I've got a video coming up on that in a couple weeks about the massive importance that the speaker makes. I think you guys are really going to want to see that. And when I criticize pickups, that's because I'm going to show you guys how big a difference pickups actually make from model to model to model. That's going to be coming up probably later this week as well. Now, I'm going on and on about pickups because I've got this incredible guitar here from Cream Tea. This has got to be one of the finest instruments I've ever had come in the studio, but most of all, what makes it super cool is it's got a hot swappable pickup system. So we can drop these in and out on the fly as we're playing and just test out the different models and check out the differences in tone and whatnot. This is definitely a video you're not going to want to miss because I think it's going to open a lot of eyes for a lot of people. Gotta say though, the guitar's fucking brilliant though, it really is. What really sucks is it's a loaner and I've got to give it back. I'm going to be really sad to see this one go. Ooh. Now, I did record those vintage instruments as well. I'm going to run those clips right now so you guys do get an idea of how they sound. Here we go. I got one more quote here from a viewer, and this is Jeffrey Alder, and I thought he made a great observation here.
The addition of the crunch made it harder to discern, which leads me to the conclusion that the more distorted a sound, the less you hear the innate qualities of the guitar.
I thought that was a great point because, you know, I've been led to believe the sound is in the hands by so many people over the years until I actually started shooting it out in a high gain context, and it's like, well, no, the sound's dumb. When you start cranking the gain on, yeah, it definitely becomes much more dependent on the amp and the speaker and the mic combination as opposed to the actual player. And that's the thing I noticed when we started playing the edge of breakup tones. The differences in the guitar sounds from individual instruments to each other just fucking narrowed so much, and it became much harder to tell. And that even goes further the more gain you tend to crank onto an amp. And this leads me to another video I want to explore, and that is if you're a high gain player, you've got a lot of information out there that's working against you because a lot of the manufacturers don't think in terms of high gain, and a lot of the community doesn't think in terms of high gain as well. And that's the thing, we've heard it bleated so many times. Oh, sound is in the hands, sound is in the hands, sound in the hands. That might be true to a certain extent for clean players, but it's absolute fucking bullshit when you start cranking gain onto an amp. That fucking just goes away. I've fucking proven that in one of my earliest videos called Is the Sound Really in the Hands? We had 4 guys play the same clip with the same pick and same everything, and yeah, the differences were about that much. So the point here with this video is not to make anybody look like an idiot. No. My point is to just drive home the point that we are visual creatures. Humans tend to listen with their eyes, and we like shiny things, and we tend to make some bad purchases based on visual feedback instead of what we're actually hearing. And this is the thing. If I hadn't have mentioned that profile wasn't a Stratocaster, you guys would have continued to think it was a Stratocaster because you were actually listening with your ears and hearing a single coil tone, and no one would have been the wiser, and it would have been absolutely fine. So just remember that when you walk into a guitar store and you go to pick out a new instrument or a new amplifier or whatnot, you might not necessarily have to spend a lot of money to get a great sound and something that your ears actually like. Anyway, if you found this video useful, please consider hitting the subscribe button. I know we've had a lot of new people coming in as of late. I'm getting very, very close to 500,000 subscribers, and I need your help to hit that goal. So if you could do that and hit the subscribe button, I'd very much appreciate it. And of course, you'll get notified when I do the pickup shootout video as well. I think you guys are really going to like what that one has to say. Hope to see you there.